Hey y'all, how's everybody doing today? I hope y'all are doing well. Just coming on here today to kind of show you how I made the cover for this. Carrie, the paper monkey, asked me if I would show how I made these covers. I've been working on these ever since I finished the summer ones. Now I finished up the other junk journals, art journal glue books or whatever, and there's 3 of those still in the shop if anybody's interested. And I'm just going to throw this out here as well while I'm here. The stuff, I didn't go through all the extra stuff that you will get. I forgot to mention that I was also going to throw in like a bag of fabric scraps. I have a humongous basket of scraps that I will never use them all. So I'm going to throw in some fabric scraps, and I've pulled some other playing cards and flashcards and some other fun stuff. Little fun ephemera, some vintage coin envelopes, or little, that you put the coins in. I guess they call it kind of a coin envelope. I'm gonna throw some of those in there. So there's gonna be a bunch of stuff with that you're gonna get with those that I didn't really tell you about. But anyway, there's 3 of those in the shop, and still there. Sold one of them. I have not shipped that. If you're my customer and you're watching, I have not shipped that out this week. Another little kind of a FYI, normally if I list journals on the weekend, I try to go to the shop. Okay, my brain is fried, y'all. This heat. I'm already losing it, I feel like. The heat doesn't help. Anyway, I go to the post office once a week. I don't have the option of having a mailman or postman pick up my packages here. I have to physically get in my car and go to the post office. And I work 5 days a week, 8 to 5. So during the week, I have to pick a day. Normally Fridays is when I'll go, unless I did something middle of the week and then give it a few days to see if they're gonna all sell or whatever, rather than running to the post office every day. Okay, so if you ordered one of those books, one of those journals, it will probably ship Friday. Okay, Thursday or Friday. Anyway, blah blah blah. So I'm going to show you how I do these covers, or how I did this cover, and then I did this one and this one a little bit different. Okay, I'm still working on these. I've got all the pages pulled. I haven't added any like fun stuff to it yet. I've added some things to this one. So I'm working on these 2. Really cute. And these are the actual patterns. They're not printables. These are the real patterns. And I'm going to show you how with this one and then this one a little bit. Okay, because we kind of do it in sort of a stage thing so you can kind of see. And then I'm going to show you 2 epic fails on these. Okay, these are not working like I had anticipated, so I've got to figure out what I'm going to do with these. But anyway, so what I did was I took the file folder. Okay, so take a file folder like this. This is a vintage hanging file folder, and I cut the metal part off, and then I just leave it this size until I decide what I'm going to do with it. So I've only just cut that metal part off, because not all these, well, I use these for lots of different things. Okay, so I want to use this pattern. This pattern is the same size. These are a little bit larger patterns than these were. You can see there's almost an inch difference in the size of the pattern envelope in these and these 2. Okay, so what I do is, you want this to glue onto here, front and back. So I'm going to take this And apologies if I sound a little scatterbrained. I'm just scatterbrained, y'all. You just have to deal with it if you know me at all. And you can see I'm not getting a real good cut here, but it's okay because most of that is going to get covered up anyway. So, or it's going to get stitched on. I'm going to straighten it up. All right. So now we have this. Now, I'm going to cut this part off, but I'm going to save this part. Okay. I need to use these scissors anyway. I'm using the wrong pair of scissors to do that. Cut that off, and I'm gonna cut this little, I'm just gonna cut this little bitty, that little part off. And I'm not being real particular, okay? It doesn't have to be perfect. None of my stuff is perfect. If you're looking for perfection, you need to, love you guys, but y'all need to look somewhere else because nothing is perfection. And if you'll see, when these things get glued together, they're not exactly straight here. Okay, they're not exactly straight, but I'm going to try to cut this as straight as I can. And you can do this one of two ways. Now, since this is a bigger pattern, you didn't really have to cut that. You could have just glued it around this file folder, okay? Like that, and then cut this part off. And then you've already kind of got, in the file folder, you've already kind of got these score lines, okay? So that helps with rounding the corners and getting that nice rounded corner. All right. But I want it a little bit bigger. So I'm going to glue. So let's say this is about 1 inch. So let's say I want about a 2-inch spine. So I'm going to glue it there. See that? I'm going to glue it right next to that last score line. Okay. Now, you can use all kinds of glue. I typically use my fabric glue for this. And you're going to need, quite a bit of the fabric glue. So I'm going to glue that. And I'm not great at, this is just my process. I'm not really going to call it a tutorial because I'm not the greatest at this kind of stuff. But you want to get a good amount. You want to get a good amount of glue because you want it to be flat. Like, you don't want it to have bubbles in it. And if you don't get it flat, and then it will bubble. I find that the fabric glue, and that's why I've gotten to where I use it a whole lot more on a lot of my projects, is when it dries, it typically dries flat, and it does not give you a lot of bubbles in it. And I like that, but it's some expensive stuff, and it smells. It's got a strong smell to it, so if you don't like that, you can use you could sometimes I'll use the PVA glue. I have a big bottle of that, and typically when I'm gluing fabric, I will pour my PVA glue out and I'll spread it out with a brush nice and even, and then put fabric on the file folders like that. If I'm using fabric, it's kind of funny because if I'm using fabric, I'll use the PVA glue, but if I'm using paper, I'll use the fabric glue. Makes a lot of sense, right? Okay, so, but it just works better for me. I feel like it works. The PVA glue would work well on this too, but this paper is thinner, so you got to be careful when you're doing this part right here, that you're adhering. And I've got a bone folder somewhere, and Lord knows where that's at. I thought I stuck it right over here. And of course, it's probably sitting on my other table, yeah. To use a bone folder too, but you got to be careful that you don't tear this, okay? So we got the front on there, and then that's part of our spine, and then you're going to flip it over, and then we're going to take the back part of this pattern, which looks like it might go that way, but it doesn't. It goes this way, and we are going to glue it. I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to glue it up to that last score line right there. And then we're going to cover this. So some of this is going to get covered with fabric. Okay. Then, I'm not going to go through all that because that would take forever. So then when you glue that down and you glue this down, then you're going to go cut it. Okay. Cut it and straighten it up. Okay. And then you're going to have this. Okay. So now we've got our front and our back and the inside. Okay. And these score lines are great because it, like I said, it helps with the rounding of the spine. Now on this one, I already cut a piece of fabric, and this is kind of like a, is this the, no, that's not the right piece. Here's my piece I cut. That was a scrap. So this is a piece of upholstery fabric, so it's a little bit thicker. But it's the only thing that I found in my stash that I really like the colors with this particular one, because this is really sort of a red and black plaid, and then this yellow, but I don't know, I just feel like it kind of goes with this. I like the colors. Okay. I don't want to use a plaid on it. I want it a little more girly looking, so I'm going to use this. So I'm going to come back with my fabric glue here. And I want to try to keep, I want you to be able to see a lot of this. I'm not so concerned it's going to go kind of up to that line on the back. But I will say that these hanging file folders, I have so many of them. I've gotten so many of them from work because you probably heard me say this before, like, I mean, everybody is trying to go as paperless as possible, so we don't have near the files that we used to. So every time somebody cleans out an office, there are always file folders to be had, or else they're going to end up in the, you know, over at surplus, probably not to be sold. They're probably going to end up in a, you know, recycling bin. So they don't mind if we take stuff like that. So now I'm just gonna varnish this down with my fingers. Okay. And then I'm gonna take my pinking shears and I'm gonna cut this off at the top. Okay. And now you have this. Now we need to let it dry. And then I'll decide what I want to cover it with on the inside. So you can either on this one I covered it with some other pattern, so I need to glue some of that back down. I stitched all around that, but you can use part of the pattern inside, okay, which is what I did with this one. And then I also took some little pieces because this one was torn, like it was really tattered, so I had to do some repair work there. And I think I'm gonna come up here and put some little buttons or something. I just haven't done that yet. But I've gotten all the pages and I've started adding things to the edges, and I've got a whole bunch of stuff set aside to do on that one. And then when I'm done, I'll do some kind of tie. These rubber bands, my rubber bands must really be old anyway. So it doesn't want to, I got it kind of chunked up there. It doesn't want to lay flat. But anyway, and then, you know, this one I covered with fabric on the inside. Now, I will say this one is not as flexible yet because I haven't been playing with it as much. But I did this one a little bit different in that I had already put this pattern onto one of the file folders, but I didn't do it the same way. I had just put it up to the edge and glued it because I thought I was just going to do like a smaller, maybe one signature journal, and then I changed my mind. So what I did was I came back with the double piece of the file folder and I glued it inside. I glued it like here and here on this part that I had already added to file folder. So it actually gives it a little more sturdiness, but it's still flexible, okay? So I gotta do the details on that one. So that's the fabric on the inside of that. And then I stitched all around. So I stitched all the way around it. I added one little piece of fabric washi right here because there were some little places on this pattern. And same thing with this one. There was pieces sort of broken off, so I added some fabric washi down here. So these are a work in progress. All three of these. Got to figure out what I want to put on the inside, whether I want to use some of the pattern, you know, the pattern directions. I shouldn't say the pattern paper, but the pattern directions is what I used in this one, okay? The direction paper, not the actual pattern paper. So these, the epic fail part. So if you'll see, so I took the pattern and I opened it up and I glued it onto just some coffee dyed paper, tea dyed paper. And then I tried to do the same thing with the file folder spine. Instead of just cutting this pattern in half and taking my spine and like taping it around, I was trying to preserve. I didn't want to come across and cover this up, okay? But what happened was this is too flimsy, okay? So now when you try to, it's not working, okay? Now I can go back and I can add something else to this and something. I don't think it's going to work to try to add like another piece of file folder. I think it's just going to be way too stiff with this spine. Same thing with this one. I'm really kind of upset because I really like these patterns. But you know what? Third world problem, right? So I think what I might end up doing is just cutting these down and maybe making some kind of fun pockets out of them, because it just didn't, even adding the fabric, it's doing this weird like that. You know, it's just too stiff in here. I don't like it. So that's not going to work for me. So I'll probably I'm going to do something else with these. Probably just make pockets out of them, like I said. Excuse me. Like maybe use the back, either cut this down on both sides and make this one a pocket, or cut this down and, you know, put something else on the back of that. Same thing with that, decorate this one. I don't know. I'll do something with them. I'll salvage them in some way, but yeah. Fail. Don't try that. And I hope you understand what I meant. Excuse me. So then I took another thing I've been working on is these little ruffles. And I hope I've been in frame, y'all. I'm trying to set up my camera a little bit different so I don't hit it. So I've made these before. So I've made a bunch of these. I just took out, pretty much just took out my white buttons because I have very few of the really pretty smaller colored buttons now, but I do kind of like this white too. I got a few of them, but and all my buttons, you would think, I either have really little pretty colored ones. I need to get some more colored ones, but I'm not buying any more buttons anytime soon. I'm not planning on it because I have so many. So I'm trying to use up what I have. So I've made ruffles, and I'm going to do some other, you know, down the pages, the edging and stuff like that. I'm going to do some of that. And I'm going to figure out how to make pockets out of those other things. Got to figure out what I want to put on the inside of this now. I hope this was helpful. So all you do at this point is, and you can even leave it like this. Like, it's fine like this. You get stitch all the way around it, and you can leave this on the inside. You don't have to put any more fabric. This is sturdy enough. It really is. You could put batting in here if you want it really squishier, or you could use the couple of layers of the actual pattern paper would be fun. I'm probably going to stick to, excuse me. Yeah, it's heat and humidity, and Everything else, you know, everybody's got sinus issues. But I kind of, you know, I did the fabric on the inside of this one. I did the polka dot. I'm going to have to cut that washi. I didn't cut that little washi tape off. It's not sticking on the other side. And then the fabric on the inside of this one. So, and like I said, Carrie, the paper monkey. Hey, Carrie. And hey to the rest of you guys out there. I hope everybody's doing well, and I hope this made sense. I hope it was helpful. If you want me to come back and as I work on these, do some more videos, let me know. I really do. I know I say this all the time. I repeat myself. I'm getting old, y'all, like I said. I really trying to do more videos, but it is kind of hard to go through all my processes, you know, every little step. I do want to show you one other thing that I'm working on. I get a plan in my head, y'all, and then I get distracted, and it's like squirrel, and I go a whole nother direction because I had actually planned on, after I finished those journals, the last journals that I did, to start kind of working on Christmas. And like I said, I still have all that stuff pulled out, but I'm gonna wait because I got inspired to do these when I started working on the little summer one, and I've had these in my stash for quite some time. So I thought I'm just gonna go ahead, while I've got all that kind of stuff out, I'm gonna make a few of those. And then while I'm kind of doing this sort of style cover, and going through my stuff, I have these other covers, like book jackets, and then these covers, like so this was like a cardstock, you know, sort of pamphlet type, all around the world, all around, with Dot and Jim. So it's like a workbook, like a children's reader workbook, and I covered that up because I didn't like the way the spine looked when I did it. So I took this, if you took this and bent it, okay, and flattened it out, that was the size of it. Well, what I did was I took it and I did the file folder again, and I took a piece of file folder here, a spine in the middle, and then a piece here, and I glued the cover, the whole cover to it, and then sort of rounded it. Well, I set it up that way because I left the gaps in between. Anyway, so I've made a cover out of this reader sort of cover. It's kind of like a lightweight cardstock, but it's reinforced by the file folder and the fabric. Okay, so that's going to be a journal soon. And then I had this other one, this other book cover. So this was a soft cover journal. Okay. Not a soft cover. This was a soft cover book, and I took the pages out and I cut it down a little bit, and then I did the same thing. So I've got the blue jean inside, and then this is the back. I'm gonna add stuff to cover this up, but I thought this would be kind of fun, and I thought this would be a really cute either just a junk journal. Okay, I think these would be just really cute junk journals, but this would also really be a cute gardening, like if you want to document gardening, or like a food journal, something like that. So I'm probably going to put some of those kind of pages in it too, but it'll be a mixture. But this is just really fun. And just because conceptually it's very similar to the other things I was doing, and I've got a toot and puddle here too. So this is the book jacket, okay? Now this does, because it's still got some slick, so this did bubble a little bit, but it's going to be a junk journal, you know? So it's going to be, these are going to be pockets. I'm going to put some fabric here, and I'm going to stitch this, and this will be a pocket. Same thing on this side. Yeah, really cute. So I'd already used the book, already used the pages, but I saved this jacket just because I think these little guys are so cute. So I'm working on those too. So they're fun. And just got to pull pages for those. And then I'm going to go back to, I'm going to try to finish these first. At least this one, these three, and then the, this one. Okay. So I'm going to do that. So these 4 will be the next ones that you should see in the shop. But I hope that helps. I hope, you know, this is a good, you know, inspiration for some of you out there if you want to play around with some patterns and all that fun stuff. And I'll come back. Like, I think this would be cute too if I added some little like some pom-pom trim here, or maybe, you know, it's like some yellow pom-pom trim, or I don't think I have any. If I have yellow rickrack though, that would be cute, or just some kind of trim on it, you know, stitch around it, add some little bits of fabric and buttons down here, maybe stitch in some buttons. I really like the way Tamara, and now I'm just rambling, so if you don't want to hear me ramble, you can just click off the video. Of course, most of you, I love you guys. Y'all watch me anyway if I ramble. But I know some people don't like to hear all that. But I really like the way Tamara tied, like those last journals that she did. Like, she poked holes in the cover and she actually tied the buttons through the cover. And for these, it would be pretty simple to do. And on the other ones too, I think that would be really cute. So I might do that on some of these. I've been thinking about that. Yeah, so I don't know, we'll see. Or, you know, add like the ruffle, you know, some of the ruffles. I do want to add something else here, but yeah, just fun stuff. So that one's about dry, so I could go stitch through it, but I've still got to figure out. Y'all let me know, should I put paper inside or find some more fabric? I don't know. I think I'll probably stick with the theme here and do fabric. And then this one that I was showing you, and then I'm gonna shut up and go on. So this one, I think I might go ahead and try to make this one too, because I have this piece of fabric right here. And this came from, I think this is so pretty. This came from, I think Sophia's. One of Sophia's little baby dresses that I'm gonna keep a piece. I have some other pieces of it, and I'm gonna use it throughout my journals, you know, in some way. But I love this fabric, and it's like a light cotton, this little summer dress. And I think this would be really pretty on this one. So I might go ahead and do that. I might go ahead and start on this one. It might be a little bit later before I finish it, but I'm gonna use that fabric on that one. But anyway, that's enough of my babbling. I'll see you guys soon. Love you. Let me know what you think about these. Do you think these are cool, or, you know, and of course, if anybody's interested in any of them, if you want to reserve one, feel free to send me an email. I prefer you email me, and I'll put my email in the description box. And if I forget, just make a comment and say, Karla, you forgot to put your email in here. I prefer you email me versus messaging me through Etsy, though, unless, if you want to reserve something from me, if you don't care that it goes in Etsy or PayPal, let me know. Send me an email. If you prefer for me to reserve something for you in my Etsy shop, because I know some people are not comfortable with purchasing just through PayPal, especially if you're a first-time customer. I get it. So let me know either way. You know, I prefer purchasing through Etsy or PayPal's fine. You know, let me know that. That's helpful. Okay, then we don't have to have that whole conversation. But anyway, love you guys. See you soon. Bye.